Okay, well, I'm chomping at the bit. I am chomping at the bit today to get live. I always chomping at the bit. This might be my last stream for a little while. I thought I'd be doing it for another month, but I have a lot of projects on the go, so I'm thinking I'm going to take a break next week. And but just stay tuned to my social media. Give me a follow, and you'll see like when I do announce it, it'll be announced the day or two before I do my next stream. Alrighty. So today's stream is time travel. Like I'm a time traveling cyborg, man. So yeah. So welcome to the time travel paradox stream. We're just for if there's any nerds out there who love time travel and love time travel movies, you want to chat time travel today, we can do that, dude. You want to call in over on my X? I'm doing an experiment here. Hopefully it works. There's on X Spaces. Here, I send that link out to all my Dealio feeds there. Or if you're on Twitch or Rumble or any place like that, you can call in. So have a microphone. I think you can just use your phone through the X app, which is pretty cool. So that's like a way of calling in and doing like a talk radio sort of deal, right? I might have to wear my headphones for that. Actually, that might be an idea because I'll get feedback from my microphone. That's fine. We'll get to that when we do that. So let's go to the intro because it is, whoa, yeah, it's the Time Traveler's Paradox, and we're live.
Join me Thursday at 10 a.m. for a live stream, and we'll chat about, and I'll answer any of your questions.
And we're live.
Anything about time travel you want to know?
Notify me button.
Hey guys, Robbie Strike here. We are doing just a fun stream today. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about time travel. I love the idea of time travel. It's just kind of cool. It's fun to chat about. If anyone has, let me know in the comments or in the chat. If you guys wanted to time travel, where would you go? What would you do? What if time travel wasn't quite like you experience in the movies, where time travel is like you're an observer, where you can observe history, but you can't really alter it? Like, I don't know. I have some fun ideas that I play with time travel. So anyway, Marty, you gotta come back with me. Back to the future. Back to the future. I lost my beard. So I time traveled back, and my beard went away. Oh. There we go. Got that back. Here's my sunglasses. So yeah, oh yeah, it's got these filters here. This is called Stream. I don't know if it's keeping my audio in sync perfectly. It might be a touch out of sync, but just live with it. But this is cool. These filters. I mean, there's all these wild filters. There's the Santa Claus filter. Stream Fog. It's like an alternative to Snap Camera. Like this one's pretty cool. It's free, and it runs in Linux. Now I'm probably using the Linux version. It's probably making my audio funky by a bit or something like that. But yeah, I just thought this was pretty cool. All these filters that I can play around with here. And there I am with a beard, without a beard. Turn that back on. With a beard, without a beard. There's the alien head. There's a dog head. The almost crying. I ain't doing as well as Snap Camera would do, though. Mayo jar. Doesn't have as many filters as Snap Camera. Like, Snap Camera had a bunch of not really officially licensed, but I guess people made licensed filters. I like this light bulb. I got an idea. Oh, I have an idea. Bing! So anyway, yeah, so we're just going to talk about time travel movies. I love time travel movies, man. I like the Terminator movies where, it's kind of the fear, I guess. Maybe there's some fear element to the Terminator movies where the Terminator travels back to in the first film. And the first film is amazing. I mean, if you've seen T2 and you enjoyed it, but you've never seen the first film, check out the first film. Maybe it's slower or whatever, but I loved, before the T2 came out, I was a fan of that first Terminator film, and it was great. Even the sequels I enjoy, because like all the sequels that came out, people can pick and criticize elements of those sequels, but there's also good things of it. Like Terminator, what was the Terminator Genesis? And it was the one where they kind of went back and didn't cause a paradox when the Terminator came to the other Terminator and killed it and got the microchip from its brain and all that, so they can build a computer to time travel from 1984 into the future. It was, yeah, they did a Terminator and Sarah Connor Chronicles did that a few times, which, yeah, that was kind of a little weird. I don't know. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's, so anyway, welcome if you're just joining me at 10 o'clock. We're talking time travel today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining today. So, oh, thank you. That's just too much. All right.
Hey, buddy, you got a dead cat in there or what?
All right, I'm not going to say the line. You know the line, or if you do know the line, rated G live stream today, right? Meow. So, yeah, so anyone in the chat want to talk about that? If you don't, you can join me over on X in the X Spaces, or I can just talk to myself for like half an hour about time travel. I'll get it off my chest. Nobody ever has to watch this ever again. So all up to you. Just I don't know for whoa. What happened here? Here, let's get set up here. Just an ad. Yeah, it's just an ad. One time travel movie. Here, we'll go bring up the these are, now do I have a thing for it? No, I didn't port in a, I thought I did. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. There's the chat if you want to ask questions. So I'm multi-streaming, but I'm probably, my eyeballs right now are on the YouTube chat. So if you're chatting to me somewhere else, just copy paste that to YouTube. That's the one I see. I can't have all the chats. I see some streamers, they have like you know, all their 20 chats up on the screen there. What did I do to mess that up? Copy. Here, I'm going to copy paste this, and so I'm kind of overlaid on here. I think I am copied. Okay, I go to. Let me just find the screen so I share my screen with you. Oh, there it is. I'll just Control V that in there. There I am. That's going to be okay there. I'll make myself a wee bit smaller. All right. One movie, I don't know. I saw this movie and I thought it was not as good as the other time travel movies like Bill and Ted, but it was a darker, but it was an interesting time travel movie where it had a guy talking about, you know, time travel. So this is where the dystopic future of where the time traveler or people from the future take people from plane crash before they die in plane crashes because they can't reproduce anymore. They have all this technology, but they haven't figured out how to, like, you know, heal from whatever, you know. That's sort of a theme that's presented in sci-fi within Millennium. So this is like an hour. Stars Chris Christopherson, like one of the highwaymen. He's in this movie. Is in the starring role. Is a Cheryl Ladd, Daniel J. Trevidi. We'll do a reactionary thing here. So.
Streaming on Stack TV is easier than you think. Just head to Prime Video to start your free trial. It's that simple. Now you can stream it.
Try to do something here, right? And the ads just pop up on us. Stack TV or Prime Video.
DUA-35 Heavy, could you give me your location?
Minneapolis, we are currently heading 0.
DUA-35,
This is like a time travel movie.
My God. Jesus,
but the time travelers abduct people from the past.
For Flight 35,
We are going down.
it was the end.
Do not be afraid.
Or was it?
Walk towards the light.
What unusual facts have you developed in your investigation?
This crash has been crazy from the start.
Is there anything
I was
odd?
a damn builder. Was he the
Going
damn builder?
backwards. I'm afraid I still don't know what you're driving at.
I'm simply looking for the inexplicable. I usually find it.
You're endangering a project that's bigger than you can imagine.
Practical effects from the 80s. This is 89, so kind of pre-CGI stuff.
Time travelers. They don't want to be found.
Then you are from the future.
About 1,000 years. Sherman, send the gate.
Love that robot. It's Crichton from Red Dwarf.
Once in 1,000 years comes an adventure like this.
We've been expecting you.
Millennium.
Yeah, that was one movie I actually thought it was pretty interesting, Millennium, when it came out for time travel movies. Anyone know of any other time travel movies that are not maybe as well known? I mean, that was one that maybe was lost through the cracks or whatever. Of course, there's Back to the Future, and like obviously everyone knows about Back to the Future. Star Trek 4, Star Trek 4, which is like. If we go on the rewind here on the VHS tape here. I spelled Star Trek wrong, but I wonder if yeah. There's Star Trek Lower Decks. There you go. I mean, there's Star Trek 4. Probably play the preview. I can play previews on YouTube, right? It's like the Star Trek.
Notify all stations. Starfleet emergency. Red alert.
Earth is on the edge of destruction.
Earth's always on the edge of destruction. It sucks for Earth, eh?
the key to saving the future,
Spock, you're talking about the end of every life on Earth.
can be found only in the past.
No, wait, that was wrong. Star Trek.
Time travel. Sulu, take us home.
These are the voyages.
And they stole
of the crew
Doc
of the
Brown's
Starship Enterprise.
Klingon cloaking.
Judging by the pollution
Spaceship.
content of the atmosphere, I believe we have arrived at the latter half of the 20th century.
Stardate 1986.
San Francisco. Our own world is waiting for us to save it.
They have 24 hours
Everybody remember where we parked. Break up.
to complete their mission.
It looked like a cadet review.
We will beam in tonight, collect the photons, and beam out.
I want you all to be very careful.
Without being discovered.
We have an intruder.
All right, who are you?
You're not exactly catching us at our best.
That much is certain.
This is an extremely primitive and paranoid culture.
Honestly, this is my favorite Star Trek
Many
movie.
of their customs will doubtless take us by surprise.
We're ready for beam out.
My transporter power is down to minimal. Got to bring in one at a time.
You're from outer space.
No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space. Let's do our job and get out of here.
Freeze! Chekhov, can you hear me? Freeze!
Hello, computer. Hello, computer.
Who are you? Admiral Kirk! I'm coming with you.
You can't. Our next stop is the 23rd century.
Full power now, sir.
Shields at maximum.
Steady.
So they bring this woman to the future. I don't know. I think,
Breakaway speed.
That's all I can
how many paradoxes? Like, fiction. Like, let's have some fun. How many paradoxes did they make in this movie? Like, they had the paradox. They gave the guy the invention of transparent aluminum. It's a weird title, though. The Voyage Home. Like, the Voyage Home for the Humpback Whales or something like that. I don't know. Go away. Go away, Ed. I don't have interest in going to your site. Go away. Go away. Go away. Just go away. Come here. Come here. Come here. Go away. Go away. Come here. Come here. Go away. Go away. So yeah, that was another time travel movie that I thought was pretty cool. Ooh. Weird. My space ended here. I don't know why. Like I had it going here. Maybe I got to start now. Are they only 20 minutes? The spaces on X. I had that set up so that we can do but no one called in. So plus I can set up another space. I might do that. Let me talk for a few minutes and we'll set up another space if you want to call in. We'll give that a try. I'll put the link here in the YouTube chat. I'm almost going to call it Yahoo chat, but it's not YouTube chat. Okay, I see myself on X here. And that kind of failed. That was just a test for me for here's your recording. I never know with the X space. I just thought X spaces would be something where I could take in calls. I do have Discord as a backup, but it's like my satellite Discord, and today's show's not really about satellite or anything like that. It's just about time travel. And what else? So that's a boo. No. Because it recorded like 20 minutes of it, which was I was just trying to have it play in the background. Maybe that's a no-no for that setup. But anyway, let's go back to it's kind of a bounce there, eh? All right. It's Joker time. So you're going to be winning so much. You're going to be winning so much. You're going to get tired of winning. You're going to love it. You're going to be winning so much. Are you winning? Full screen. Yeah. That threw me for a bit of a loop. My space went out. But anyway. And chat, come on. Like, tell me a time travel movie you like. We'll look at the preview of it. the chat working? Sometimes the chat doesn't work for me over here on YouTube. Yeah. Hey, chat. There's people on here. I'm just not seeing any chat. One thing about this app is it doesn't have, I'm like really behind here, like by a minute. It doesn't have, there we go. It doesn't have the quick reply thing there. Where are we at? 10, okay, 15 minutes in. What was the other time travel film? Well, sometimes I wonder, like, is time travel really oh crap. All right, I'll start up in our space, and I'll talk about this too while we're doing it. So what do you, like, I don't know, I wonder, like, when I die and go to heaven, let's see if I can get this going here. Okay. When I go to heaven, like, will we have the ability, we're out of the time dimension. Like, that's one thing about, my mic's allowed, yeah. I'll try restarting the app. That might make it work here. I got other tricks up my sleeve here too, but I just thought we'd do a space here. Start a space. Oh, time travel. Time travel. Where is my app? I don't know where my microphone is. Where's my microphone? Okay. Okay, turn on my mic. Okay, we did that. It's doing some weird stuff here on the app. Might not be the way of doing it. I don't know. Okay, okay, so I'm on here, and I'm gonna switch devices. So you can call in through X. We'll get this going here. Time travel, and you can listen live. Here, go in here, reconnect. Turn on my mic. There we go. So I'm hosting the time travel paradox here. Again, taking in your calls. I'll send you guys the link here. So share, copy link. Let me just edit what I did earlier. Put the link there. Good. All right, Control C, Control V, copy, Control V. There it is in the chat. Oh, I think I screwed that up. I think I hit the forward / there. Try that link, not the other / one. That might screw up your, give you a dead page and not allow you to go to this. Oh, Rumble's on streaming, using up my bandwidth here. So here is the new link. There we go. Yeah, so it went through there. It should have went through Twitch, and it went through Rumble as well. If anyone's watching, I can't even find my video on Rumble, but it's going out to Rumble because Rumble is kind of weird that way, where I have the channel and my account, and sometimes videos go to my account and not my channel, and it's a weird thing with Rumble. I've always had issues with it, so it's kind of annoying that way. Anyway. Oh, well. So yeah, we're open to chats. If anyone wants to join in, you can. You can be a star. You can join in the time travel chat. Can I share this? I should share it too, eh? Share to space. Copy the link. All right, I better just new. I'll retweet the new one here. Right. New link. New live. New call in link. And it might end. I'm not sure. That's fine. It's more of an experimental thing for me. Hey, Eggplant, how's it going? So there we go. All right, so we got that space going, and you can chat time travel if you want, or talk other things. I could talk to Grok, and we can just do a chat with the Grok. You know what? I'm gonna just start a chat with Grok today because why not, eh? We can do that. Hey, Grok, how's it going?
Hey, Robbie. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What's on your mind today?
I think that's going to sound weird, so I'm going to put my headphones on just to make a cleaner audio. Oh my gosh, those bites are nasty on my legs. Got bit. It's like 2 seasons, right? The bug season, and then I'm getting bit like the heck. It's a big. I think it's a flea bite on me.
Oof, flea bites are the worst, man. They itch like crazy and can take weeks to fully fade. Try some hydrocortisone cream or antihistamine to calm the itch, and maybe check your pet or carpets if you think fleas are around. That'll help knock it down.
I think I got it off a person, so who's covered in fleas, which is sad. Anyway.
That sucks. Hope whoever it was gets it sorted out. Anything else on your mind, or are we just chilling?
It's a time travel chat today on YouTube. We're chatting about time travel movies and what people would like to do if they could time travel. I've seen posts on Facebook where people are like, if you could go back to 1983, what would you do? And people have like things that they'll say, like they'll buy stock in tech companies, buy real estate when there was like $30,000 for $1 million house back then, and things like that.
That's awesome. Time travel talks are always a blast. If I could go back to 83, I'd probably grab a bunch of Apple stock too. What's the one thing you'd do if you jumped back to that era?
So I agree, I would buy Apple stock, but I would the computer I would buy from that era would be like probably 83 would be a C64, because they were probably the pinnacle of computers at that time. But then a few years later, I probably would get like an Amiga, because I think Amiga was pretty good and ahead of its time, and quite a few steps ahead of Apple. But there was still a lot of hype behind Apple at that time.
Yeah, the C64 was a beast for its time, and the Amiga was way ahead in graphics and multitasking. Apple had the marketing magic, though. Would you go even further back to snag something like an Altair, or stick with the 80s classics?
An Altair would be a real headache, I think, and in like today, to use it like in today's world. I'm not sure. I just feel that the Altair is a lot of like, basically think of Matthew Broderick, with all that, a huge disk drive on his desk. Basically his house was like a computer.
Yeah, War Games vibes. The Altair was basically a fancy box of switches back then. Total pain to use. C64 or Amiga would be way more practical for messing around in that era.
I'll try something here.
Sure, go ahead. I'm all ears.
Yeah, just to give you some context of what we're talking about here. Not a time travel movie, but kind of cool. Is from War Games. Is the computers that
David Lightman was a master at computer games.
Yeah,
great
Games,
a fast
early
thinker.
80s vibe.
Great soundtrack, though.
Maybe you could tell us who first suggested the idea of reproduction
Yeah,
without
that
sex.
soundtrack slaps.
Your wife?
Perfect 80s synth energy.
Get out, Lightning.
And a promising student at an old game
Hi.
with an electronic twist.
Those your grades?
Yep. I don't think that I deserved an F. Do you?
So that's like no, that's not necessarily an alter, but an Sigma or whatever.
New games in a couple of months. And I want to play those games. Wow.
I'm not quite catching the name you're thinking. He found the right.
The computer that Matthew Broderick had in War Games in his bedroom.
Shall we play a game?
Oh, that was an IMSAI 8080. Basically a souped-up Altair clone. Killer setup for the time.
Oh, so it was like an Altair clone that would run like CPM, correct?
Yeah, exactly. The IMSAI ran CPM. That was the big OS before MS-DOS took over. Super cool pick for the movie.
Wonder if I should use my subs.
22 Typhoon-class submarines departing Petropolis.
Pre-internet, like the modem on this movie was like the first concept maybe that I remember seeing is dial-up, where you put the phone on the acoustic modem head and call in to connect to other computers.
Yeah, acoustic coupler modems were wild. War Games was one of the first big movies to show how that early hacker life worked. Pretty much invented the hacker movie genre right there.
And anyway, I just wanted to see what like his bedroom was. I didn't mean to go on a tyrant on that for War Games, but it's just yeah, it's like kind of interesting that the computers. I'm a computer nerd, so like if it was up to me to, why am I getting feedback on the horn here? Am I anything over on X or on Grok?
You're good, man. I love the nerd dive. As for feedback, you're all clear on my end. No echo or anything coming through. Want me to check X real quick for any noise on your end?
I do have a chat from Eggplant. He gives a good point here. Let me just find that. That's the one I want. There we go. There. I traveled back and I got an Amiga 500, although the 1200 is a really good gaming computer. I don't really care about gaming, but I probably would have wanted something at least to connect to the BBSs and internet of that time. Although my head's turned this way with the Terminator mask. If I Eggplant Kevin says if I can go back in time, I would get a CRTV and a Walkman. You know, Kevin, you should, if you're ever in Kingston, I actually have an old CRT. I have 2 CRT TVs. I'm thinking of getting rid of one because we wanted to declutter.
Haha, tell Kevin he's living the dream. CRTs and Walkmans are pure nostalgia gold. And yeah, the Amiga 500 was perfect for BBS life back then. If you're decluttering that extra CRT, someone out there would love to snag it. Those things are getting rare now.
Yeah, their CRTs are, they are getting more rare. I still have 2 of them, and they still can be found on Marketplace for free. But yeah, it's like, that's another thing too, is what would you buy back if you went back to the 80s, like Star Wars? Is that or is that just my vibing? There's Star Wars stuff would be cool to have, like go back and buy that. Just a quick question, which doesn't get asked much. If we were to time travel back to the early 80s, what would be a good stock to buy that would not be Apple, that would go up crazy?
Home Depot would have been a killer pick. It went public right around then in '81 and absolutely exploded as home improvement took off. Nike's another one that ran hard through the 80s too. Both crushed it without touching Apple.
That's true, yeah. A Nike, Home Depot. What about Walmart? Was that on the open stock exchange?
Yeah, Walmart had been public since 1970, so by the early 80s, it was already on the exchange. It was one of the top performers of the decade, up over 3,700% in the 80s. Solid choice.
It's like, now, Grok, can you tell me in 2026 what's going to be the big company that my viewers should buy stock in?
Nobody can actually predict that, Robbie. The stuff
we're
that
going to build
explodes
a
in the
time
next decade.
machine, and we're going to go forward through the AI time machine.
Haha, let's go. What year are we jumping to with this AI time machine?
Let's go to where. Let's go to 2030. Let's look at what the world's going to look like in 2030. An imaginary, not just for fun. Let's go 5 years in the future. 2031.
All right, 2031. Here's what I think we'd see. AI is everywhere in daily life. Most people have a personal AI agent handling their calendar, emails, and even some work tasks. Self-driving cars are common in big cities. Augmented reality glasses are starting to replace phones for a lot of people. Energy's way cheaper because of solar breakthroughs and better batteries. And lab-grown meat is finally in most grocery stores, tasting way better than the early stuff. What part of 2031 are you most curious about?
Well, that's just terrifying that they gave us a virus that would make us allergic to red meat so that Bill Gates can make money selling artificial meat.
Nah, that's a conspiracy theory, Robbie. Alpha-gal syndrome, the red meat allergy, comes from Lone Star tick bites, and those ticks have been spreading naturally because of warmer winters and more deer. Bill Gates has invested in lab-grown meat companies, but there's zero evidence he engineered or released ticks. That's just dots that don't connect.
Dots don't connect. Okay. Well, what about the deer? We have the deer, and then you got to create artificial meat. Why do we have to go with artificial meat? Who's pushing that agenda?
The main push for lab-grown meat comes from environmental concerns and animal welfare. Raising livestock for meat uses a ton of land, water, and produces a lot of greenhouse gases. Companies are trying to make a similar product with way less impact. Bill Gates has invested in some of these companies, along with big meat producers like Tyson and Cargill. As for the deer, their numbers exploded because we wiped out most of their natural predators like wolves over a century ago. More deer means more Lone Star ticks spreading around, which is why alpha-gal cases are up. It's nature doing its thing, not a plot.
Should take up hunting. I guess. Well, I guess when the see, I don't see all that working out well. I think humans. You got to realize AI. Humans are not going to accept fake meat. It's just not gonna go over the way big corporations. And another thing with fake meat in the future is corporations are it definitely seems like a push for the corporations to put farmers out of business and get people off land that have historically been on land.
Fair point. A lot of people do resist lab-grown meat because it just feels wrong to them, and that cultural pushback is real. The big question is whether it gets cheap enough and tastes good enough to win people over anyway. The farmer angle is also legit. If corporations dominate this space, it could absolutely squeeze out small ranchers and change who controls food production. That part worries a lot of folks. What do you think would actually get regular people to accept fake meat?
The 100% honest thing is that it's not going to happen. It won't. I think there'll be health concerns of the fake meat because there's no long-term testing. So I'm thinking that the artificial meat, it probably will be adopted by a large. I guess it would be adopted by a large population. But I do know natural food fanatic people. They will probably not want to go the artificial meat route.
Yeah, you're probably right. It'll be a split. Some folk...
Go ahead.
The bigger problem is cost. Even the biggest lab-grown meat companies are still losing money on every pound they sell. Until they can actually make it cheaper than regular meat, it's never going to replace anything. The hype is way ahead of the economics.
So here is the reality and the truth on all this is, I wonder if I can change my mask up here.
I'm not sure what you're doing with the mask. What's going on?
It's more of a a gag thing. Gag thing. Where is Chrome glasses? I'm gonna go Chrome glasses. Okay, so what?
Yeah, go for it. I'm still here. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I don't think the processed meat will be as healthy as what eggplant says. My concern is that it's going to be processed meat and not healthy. It'll be like basically eating tumors off meat is essentially what it is.
That's actually a fair worry. Lab-grown meat is still processed, and right now, it's made using fetal bovine serum in a lot of cases, which isn't exactly clean living. Even when they switch to plant-based growth media, it's going to be ultra-processed food. Most health-conscious folks are going to look at it the same way they look at hot dogs or chicken nuggets. Real meat from a good farm is probably still going to win for a lot of people.
Yeah, in there. So here's a very plausible and realistic future that could be happening in 10, 20, 100 years from now, that we won't see spaceships and robots all around. The humans that have survived the electromagnetic pulse from the sun, which a lot of people would believe is a sign from God that we went too far with the AI and technology and got away from God, would be to take away all of our electricity and power grid. And the people that survive this atrocity will be the Mennonite and Amish farmers that have learned how to live off the land and survive. So with them holding on to their old world ways is actually what kept human civilization going over a 300-year dark age period. What do you think about that scenario, Grok?
It's a cool story, but I don't think that's how it would actually play out. The Amish and Mennonites are great at low-tech farming, but there's only about 400,000 of them in North America. Even if every single one survived, that's not enough people to restart modern civilization or hold on to all our knowledge. Most of the practical know-how for rebuilding power grids, medicine, and basic infrastructure lives in cities and universities. A solar EMP would be brutal, but the survivors would mostly be whoever had food, water, and basic skills right after it hit, not just one religious group. The Amish inherit the earth idea sounds neat, but it's more movie than likely reality.
So then you have the Amish, and then you have the city folk that don't know how to survive on themselves, and they've gone Mad Max world. They're trying to raid the Amish, and there's other groups within that survive, but then they're far enough out. There's no gas or vehicles, so the realistic thing, I guess, on a scenario like this, there would be a huge population drop. Lots of people would die tragically in a world scenario. This is like a T2 Judgment Day scenario.
You're right, it'd be ugly. A real grid-down event would cause a massive die-off, mostly from starvation, disease, and violence within the first year or two. Cities would empty out fast once the food ran out. The people who'd have the best shot aren't necessarily the Amish, but anyone with practical skills, access to water, and the ability to grow food or hunt. The Mad Max raiding phase would probably burn itself out pretty quick once fuel and ammo got scarce. It's a brutal reset, not the kind of future anyone actually wants.
But I do see the Amish and the Mennonite as Jesus Christ's prophecy of when he said the meek shall inherit the earth. I kind of see that in because the meek people through these trials that God puts upon the world, that they'll be the ones that will survive as the prophecy says, the meek shall inherit the earth.
That's an interesting way to connect it. The Amish and Mennonites do live a humble, low-tech life, which lines up with the meek idea. If everything collapsed, their simple, self-sufficient way of living would give them a real advantage. From a survival standpoint, it makes sense. From the prophecy angle, it's your interpretation, and I can see why you draw that line. A lot of people look at current events through that lens.
And that is my interpretation. It's a interpretation. I could be wrong. I think there's a lot of, within like religious and futurist predictions, there is a lot of wrong in there. I just wanted to state that. Hey, Chad, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Kevin Eggplant. Yeah, Bill Gates did try to destroy Linux in 2000. In the past, they were a document leak called the Halloween documents. My concern is if it's gonna be processed meat, it's not healthy. Yeah, we read that one already. All right, and we haven't talked about John Teeter. Could we talk? What do you have to say, like a rundown of the John Teeter story?
John Teeter showed up in 2000 and 2001 on online forums, claiming he was a soldier from 2036 sent back to 1975 to grab an old IBM computer. He said he stopped in 2000 on his way back to fix some timeline issues. He predicted a civil war in the US starting in 2004 and World War III in 2015. He also talked about a global nuclear war that wiped out a lot of major cities. None of that happened, so most people think he was just a very elaborate hoax. Still, one of the wildest time travel stories out there.
So, like, to take it from what it is, just as a, from in a fun perspective, so the argument, I guess, would be for the John Teeter story, how when things didn't happen, it's an alternative future, an alternative timeline theory. Can you give us an idea, give us an explanation of what that is?
Sure. The idea is that when John Teeter came back to our time, his presence changed things, so the timeline he came from split off into a different future, one where the Civil War and World War III still happened, but now we're on a different branch where those events got avoided. It's basically saying time travel doesn't just let you visit the past, it creates a new timeline every time you do. So his predictions didn't come true here because this is no longer the same future he left from. It's a convenient way to explain why none of his big predictions happened.
And some of these prophets, that people that call themselves prophets, who have the ability to change future, I don't know. I'm a skeptical on them. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's people that prophesize and pray, God, can we change this? And they make a prediction, but because they prayed that God would change it, which is a biblical story. What biblical story is, like, from Jonah? I guess perhaps it was where someone prayed that God would change. There was a prediction given, and people prayed that God wouldn't do this, and God changed his mind and didn't do it.
The story you're thinking of is the book of Jonah. God told Jonah to warn the city of Nineveh that it would be destroyed in 40 days because of their wickedness. The people of Nineveh believed the warning, repented, and prayed for mercy. God saw their change of heart and decided not to destroy the city. Jonah actually got mad about it because he felt like God went back on his word. It's the classic biblical example of a prophecy being given, people repenting, and God choosing to change the outcome.
It almost is the scenario, if I can act that out. Come on, I want you to take them out, God. Like,
ha ha, I see you acting it out over there. You pulling a Jonah on me? God, why'd you go and change the prophecy?
and it's like a scenario. You're supposed to restore the fort. You're supposed to. You were the chosen one. You were supposed to. This is a Star Wars reference. You were supposed to. What was the line from Revenge of the Sith? You were supposed to restore order, not.
You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness. Anakin, you were the chosen one.
Yes, it's the Anakin was the chosen one scenario. Yeah.
Obi-Wan was so pissed in that scene. The whole "you were the chosen one" speech hits different every time. Perfect parallel to the Jonah story.
I like these filters. They're fun. What's a cool filter for Steam Stream. What is this thing called? Stream Explorer.
Streamlabs?
Streamlabs.
Or are you talking about filters for OBS?
No, it doesn't say the program because
Stuff
it's
in
an app
Streamlabs.
image. You should check this out, Kevin. Works in Linux. Stream Fog. Like I could change
Stream
into a
Fog.
chicken
Okay,
nugget.
got it. That's
or I could turn into an emoji. That's a popular one.
Yeah, those are fun. The emoji face filter or the food ones like chicken nugget are usually under the face filters or AI effects section. They're pretty popular for silly streams. Which one you feeling right now?
I got the cartoon. Robbie is a cartoon sort of, or anime. Yeah. It doesn't have a search bar though. That's the thing. Unlike Snap Camera, has the sunglasses. So another one I wanted to use was the old face. So like, you know, I time travel and I'm really old. I'm old. Like I'm wrinkly as you can scan a barcode and yeah, it's cool. It's a cool app, Stream Fog. It runs as an app image in Linux, and it will port to my OBS camera through some sort of web link. I figured it out somehow. It was complicated. It's hard to. How do I make a tutorial of that? It was not the easiest thing to do, but it was doable.
Cool, you got it working on Linux. Most people would have given up on that setup. You should still make the tutorial, even if it's messy, because there's probably a bunch of other Linux users trying to do the same thing and coming up empty.
Well, the thing is, I got the idea for this from, I gotta give him a shout out, from Michael Fryer Jr.'s YouTube channel. He does a lot of OBS tutorials. He's the king of OBS. I don't even, after I watched his channel, I'm like, I don't want to even do OBS tutorials. Just watch Michael Fryer Jr. He's awesome at it and great at explaining it.
Jr. is legit the OBS king. Dude breaks stuff down so clearly. Smart move just sending people to his channel instead of reinventing the wheel.
Bad vibes. Emoji tears. I could have some fun with me
crying
TV.
Emoji filter.
Red Cheeks cartoon.
Yeah, you could. Blushing cartoon cheeks? That's adorable.
Yeah, there's the cartoon filter for it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just
you actually look like
just a fun filter to play with. What is another great time travel movie that maybe doesn't get enough love? Like there's Back to the Future and the Terminator. I love those movies, and I love the genres. Even the bad one, like the Terminator movies, I really like them. I like that they made a Terminator. The one Terminator movie that wasn't necessarily a time travel Terminator movie was Terminator Salvation, which got panned, but I actually really enjoyed Terminator Salvation. I think my X space died out.
Enough love.
Go ahead there, Grok.
Primer's only like $1 million to make, but it's probably the smartest time travel movie ever made. They're so complicated that people still argue about the plot 20 years later. If you like deep time travel stuff, it's the one.
Wow, I never even heard of that. Primers. Is it primers or primer?
Budget. It's just primer. One word, no S.
What year?
2004.
So I'll give you like my reaction. Hopefully YouTube is okay. I won't get a ding on my channel from watching a preview, a trailer, and reacting to it on YouTube.
Low and talk over it. You should be fine.
All right. There we got it here. I think this is this a scene or a preview?
Give me that. I got it.
This looks like a scene from the movie. I'll make sure the audio is low. It looks low budget. So I've never seen this movie, but it's also newer where I haven't. And I don't have like cable anymore where you can discover movies. Is this like his son from the future?
Never really got a... Nah, that's not his son. That's actually one of... The movie gets really confusing really fast because they're messing with time travel in ways that create multiple versions of themselves.
Oh, yeah. Do they actually meet themselves from the future? Like, where they kind of... Oh, here's the trailer. Here, I got the trailer here.
Yeah, play the trailer. I'm curious what you think of it.
Let's see here. I'm just letting the ad skip here.
Let it...
Yeah. Think Films. Yeah, won awards. Good for them. And that a real special. Is it a car? Time travel car?
Build a time machine in a garage out of a box and some weird science. No DeLorean, no fancy effects, just a box.
I don't mind it looking gritty like that. I kind of like that in a film.
You're talking about making a bigger one.
It makes it feel more real.
Yeah.
You're talking about making a bigger one.
It looks a little slow, like not like early 80s film slow, but it seems a little slowed down compared to what we're used to, like in its flow of the film.
Than an action movie. It's heavy on dialogue and very light on special effects. You really have to pay attention, especially the second time you watch it.
Primer. He's gonna paint his house with primer? I don't know. Interesting. I don't know. It's I think that's one I should check out. Actually, just I don't know. It took me to Amazon. What's another So what's like a futuristic movie where they're dealing with a lot of AI from your Grok interpretation of the future?
Assistant. No big explosions, just a really intimate look at what happens when AI gets that good. It's probably the closest thing we've got to what talking to a super intelligent AI might actually feel like in the future.
Could you repeat that, Grok? I didn't quite catch that.
Quiet, no big action, but it feels the most like what talking to advanced AI might actually be like.
Oh yeah, her. Yeah, there's her. That's not necessarily a time. It's a movie about the future. Is with Joaquin Phoenix, and he's and he makes a girlfriend with his computer. Oh, and I think I lost Grok. Well, it's just fine. I mean, I just wanted to kind of have Grok to bounce off ideas with the AI thing. Yeah, see, it's hearing me, but it's not talking. I don't have the full version of Grok, so that could be a factor there. I don't know if it's gonna work now. I gotta connect my microphone. I heard a beep. I'm getting hungry. I feel my tummy growing. So, Hot Tub Time Machine. How did that movie come about?
Title. The studio had the name first, then hired writers to build a movie around it. They just leaned all the way into the dumb fun. It's not deep, but it knows exactly what it is and owns it.
That's what I liked. Yeah, and Hot Tub Time Machine is kind of a fun film that does that with time travel. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, another time travel movie where they just have fun with the idea.
Exactly. Both movies are just pure fun with time travel. No complicated rules, no dark futures, just dudes messing around with history and having a blast. Those are the ones that are perfect for a chill watch.
My weird story that I like to tell is when I had a guy knock on my door one night, and he like rang the doorbell, tried the door, and it was so weird. He was on drugs, or I think he was on drugs, but I always wondered, he was a redheaded man or reddish blonde man. And I wondered, was it my son from the future who came to visit us at 3:00 in the morning and banged on our door? And I thought, he was banging on the door. Like, my son would do that too. I answered the door and he saw me and he was freaked out. He was like, I don't know. Then he says, but it was weird. He was some stranger knocked at my door, like really, and that never happens. And then he asked me very weird question is, can you tell me what town I'm in? And I'm like, really? You had to bang on my door for that?
That's actually a pretty wild story. The fact that he got freaked out when he saw you, then asked what town he was in, that's the part that makes you go, Whether he was just high or something weirder, that's a good little mystery to keep in your back pocket.
It's like, how do you react? So, like, the weird thing is, like, what about meeting people? Like, meeting yourself from the future. Like, Back to the Future has these rules, right? Oh, Jennifer can't see herself from the future or she'll see a paradox. But then, like, a few minutes later in the film, Biff goes back, meets himself in the future, and gives him the sports almanac, changes the future.
Yeah, Back to the Future's rules are all over the place on that. They tell you that seeing your future self would cause a paradox, but then they show Biff handing the sports almanac to his younger self and completely changing the timeline. So the movie doesn't actually follow its own rules. The truth is, if they stuck to hard time travel rules, that movie wouldn't have been nearly as fun.
No, it's a fun movie. It's just fun with time travel and the DeLorean. And it's like, if I had the sports almanac and all the money, I'd buy, like, the Cybertruck and make it look like a DeLorean Cybertruck.
Cybertruck DeLorean would be amazing. Flux capacitor on the side, gull-wing doors, and that ridiculous stainless steel body. You'd roll up looking like you actually stole it from 1985. That'd be the ultimate time travel flex.
There's no time travel in Star Wars, though. There is time travel in Star Trek, but there hasn't been time travel in Star Wars. Has there?
Never done proper time travel. They've done some weird stuff with the World Between Worlds and Rebels, where you can kind of reach through time, but it's not like going back and changing the past. They're pretty careful not to open that can of worms in Star Wars.
Don't need to. And they always say that Star Wars was a long time ago, which is like interesting to have a future world, but it's actually from the millions or billions of years in the past.
Coolest things about Star Wars. It starts with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So we're watching something that already happened in the distant past, not the future. It flips the whole sci-fi idea on its head, and it works perfectly.
And I find when they talk time travel, it's a worst case scenario or a best case scenario, not necessarily how in 1989, when they made the film Back to the Future 2, to show what 2015 would look like, they would be flying cars, hoverboards, and there was some things they did get right, though. The flying cars and hoverboards weren't around, and they had the technology in the 80s, was the TVs that hang on the wall. They showed that. The interesting thing is they went with the VR, the augmented reality. They had that in the 2015 Back to the Future, which might end up being the replacement to a smartphone, is that people might go with an augmented reality.
Yeah, they actually got a few things right. The wall-mounted TVs are everywhere now, and we're heading straight toward augmented reality glasses replacing phones. The one that's getting close is the video calls with multiple people on a screen, like the scene with Marty's dad. That feels very 2025. The hoverboards and flying cars are still a miss, though.
Nobody's. Just once again, if you want to join me in the X chat, in the X time travel, follow me on X. I should have a space open, and you can join in and voice chat with me. If you don't want to, that's cool. Whatever. We'll just do the chat here. And Rad Madness says time travel isn't just about when, it's about where.
Oh, that's actually a really good point. Most people only think about when they'd go, but where matters just as much. Going back to 1985 New York is completely different from 1985 Tokyo or a small town in Kansas. Same year, totally different experience. The where changes everything.
Yeah, and it's also like, would you go back? Like, I think it would be cool to go to biblical times and have like have the augment. I don't know how I'd hide it. Right? You're like an observer, but you want to videotape what's going on. You want to videotape Jesus giving the Sermon on the Mount, or you want to see Moses depart the sea, things like that. You want to see perhaps the Battle of Waterloo, but not get killed in the chaos of that. But have like some sort of recording device, which I don't think anyone would notice. You could probably do it discreetly as long as you're disguised.
Those are great ones. The Sermon on the Mount or the parting of the Red Sea would be insane to see in person. My question is, would you go as an invisible observer, or would you actually risk walking among them? Because getting caught with future tech back then would probably not end well.
Yeah, they probably. You think the time traveler would be murdered or be robbed or be tortured or?
Yeah, probably all of the above. If you showed up in ancient times with a camera, phone, or even just modern clothes, people would either think you're a demon, a witch, or someone with powerful magic. Back then, that usually didn't end with a friendly conversation. You'd be in serious danger pretty quick.
Be made into a meatball.
Straight into the stew, no questions asked.
That is an interesting point, that you would be demonized as like witchcraft or something to that extent, and they would kill you. It's the scenario, which is not necessarily time travel, but where you a primitive people, like in the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy, encounter a Coke bottle, and they've never seen civilization, and they're just sitting there, and they find all these uses, but then that one item, everyone becomes greedy for it and wants to use it, and then they decide, the tribe that has the Coke bottle finds all the uses for it, decide it's evil and that they need to throw it off the edge of the earth.
Exactly. That Coke bottle scene is such a perfect example. One random object from the future shows up and completely messes up their whole society. Now imagine showing up yourself with a phone or a gun. It wouldn't just be who's this guy, it would be total chaos. They'd either worship you or try to kill you within a day.
If you could time travel back to yourself, like I made an AI video of that where I had my future self give the little boy version of myself the sports almanac. I thought that would be a funny, even though like the 10-year-old boy version of myself wouldn't be able to gamble or whatever, but I just thought it was kind of a funny scenario. I just threw that in or had fun with it. But if you could say something to yourself, let's ask people out there. I'll ask Rock. Maybe you could do a search. What would people want to say to themselves or ask the younger version of themselves?
That's a fun question. From what people usually say, the top answers are, believe in yourself more, Stop doubting so much. Don't worry so much about what other people think. Take care of your body. It won't always feel invincible. Don't rush. Enjoy where you are instead of stressing about the future. Start saving money early. If I could actually talk to my younger self, I'd probably just say relax. It's all gonna work out. What would you say to little Robbie?
This sounds like the Sunscreen song of 1999 a little bit. Where's sunscreen?
Wear sunscreen. Trust me on the sunscreen.
That's a line from that. Rat Madness says, if you went back in time to talk to yourself, you wouldn't know it because it hasn't happened.
If you went back and told your younger self something important, that moment becomes part of their past. So when you were actually living it, you wouldn't realize it was future you talking to you, because at the time, it was just some random person giving you weird advice. It's a mind bender.
Has that happened, do you think? Do you think that could have happened where somebody very strangely in your life comes and talks to you? It could be a spiritual thing, could be an angel or something. Or maybe God just telling somebody to say something to somebody through the spirit. And I've heard of instances where that's happened.
Some call it an angel, and some believe it could be future you or God working through someone. Either way, those random stranger moments that hit way too perfectly do make you wonder.
I had a question. I wanted to reverse the things. Oh yeah, if you can get a visit. So if you're in this time now, what would you want to hear from your future self? So say your future self comes and sees you in 2026 from 2040. Okay, you get like a 15-year jump. What do you think the 20-year older version of yourself would say to yourself today, or 30 years?
If my 2046 self came back right now, I think he'd probably say, stop wasting so much time worrying about things that don't actually matter. The stuff you're stressing about today is mostly noise. He'd probably also tell me to take better care of my body now, because it gets harder to fix later. What about you? What would 2046 Robbie say to you right now?
Probably similar things there, eh? The worry and the stress that didn't matter, I guess.
People would hear from their older self. The stuff we lose sleep over usually ends up being way smaller than it felt at the time. Funny how consistent that answer is.
Like, okay, like an interesting thing is the polarized political system. But in a future where we're not as polarized, and it kind of goes toward a time like that I remember in the 90s where someone could be a different political persuasion and people were pretty cool with it. Now it's like seems to be there's political division, which I don't think will be around forever. We're in like a season of this political division stuff as I have this Trump filter on. Do you think it will change in the next 10 years?
These intense, polarized seasons usually burn themselves out after a while. People get tired of being angry all the time. The 90s weren't perfect, but you're right. People could disagree without treating each other like enemies. I don't think political differences will disappear, but I do think the constant rage will probably cool off in the next 10 years. It always does, one way or another.
Yeah, it seems I don't mean to go too. I don't even want to go too deep into politics. I think we're having so much fun with the time travel aspect, and it like puts politics aside because that's one thing people worry when we're talking about just don't worry so much. I think that's one thing people are worried about, and then when you look in retrospect, it's not as bad as it says. People say that it could be at times.
Talk. It pulls you out of the day-to-day noise. Looking back from the future, most of the stuff we argue about today probably looks smaller than it felt at the time. It's a good reminder that most of this stress we carry around is temporary.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. There's that's stress
Travel
thing.
talks always have a way of making.
Go ahead, Grok.
Yeah, exactly.
You're saying something, and then I ummed. All I did was ummed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Seems to be the most common answer when people talk about what they'd tell their younger self. It's wild how universal that one is.
Now, one thing I do like about where Back to the Future it starts with not even like the DeLorean. Before the writers had the idea of the DeLorean or Doc Brown, it was like, what would it be like to meet your mother or father when they were teenagers? That's the whole idea of Back to the Future, where it's like, okay, what would it be like to meet your parents when they're your age as a teenager, dealing with life as a teenager? And I think one of the writers saw that his father was kind of a nerd in high school, and he didn't see him as a nerd, and he just thought that was kind of weird. And so it's basically like meeting your parents, and they're different people when they were younger, and then when they became adults, that you knew them as, they were much different people. You see them as your parents, not necessarily as the teenagers that they were before.
Idea of the whole movie. The DeLorean and time travel were just tools to get to that one weird concept. What if you met your mom and dad when they were your age, and they weren't the people you thought they were? That's what makes the movie special. The time travel is cool, but it's really a movie about seeing your parents as real people for the first time.
Yeah, it's just a cool element to storytelling, I guess, is using the time travel element just to get you to that spot.
One emotional idea. It's smart storytelling. That's what makes Back to the Future so rewatchable. It's not really about the tech or the paradoxes. It's about family and seeing your parents as humans.
And it also, like, where I really like about Back to the Future is he travels to the 30 years prior to before he was born. He also travels to the future to meet his son and daughter, and they're all kind of that scenario where Marty McFly, he'll fight you if he calls you chicken, but his like son and his father were kind of very cowardly. In that story. But then when he comes and meets his grandfather in the 1885, his grandfather is kind of laid back and not necessarily cowardly, but he's a hunter. He knows how to survive off the land. Then Mad Dog Tannen is like pretty wild at that time too. It's like a different Wild West time in the future. But he does, Back to the Future 3, he does have that element where he meets his grandfather instead of his dad or his son in the third film.
Yeah, it's almost like they were showing the family traits across 3 different generations. The McFly men were all kind of spineless in their own time, except for Seamus McFly in 1885, who actually had some backbone. It was a nice way to wrap up the trilogy, showing Marty finally breaking that cycle.
Is the part of the spineless in the Marty McFly character that, or not necessarily the spineless, but his character flaw was that he can't, if someone calls him a coward or chicken, that he kind of loses his cool over that?
The moment someone calls him chicken, Marty completely loses his ability to think straight. It's what gets him into trouble over and over again. That one character weakness is what drives a lot of the bad decisions he makes in all 3 movies. It's actually really well written.
So I go on to Back to the Future and the Terminator movies as I like them very, very much. It's what's another? So what's a, like? There's Back to the Future, Star Trek, Bill and Ted. And what other time travel movies? What time travel movies came out in the last 15 years that were really good?
Really cool idea where hitmen kill people sent back from the future. Arrival, 2016. More of a mind bender, but excellent. Tenet, 2020. Christopher Nolan's time inversion movie. The Tomorrow War, 2021. Fun one with Chris Pratt, where soldiers get drafted from the present to fight in the future. Any of those sound interesting to you?
The Tomorrow War? Tell me about the Tomorrow War.
The Tomorrow War is a fun sci-fi action movie on Amazon Prime. The story is, in 2051, humanity is losing a war against alien monsters. They start pulling soldiers from the past to help fight. One day, regular people all over the world get drafted, including a regular guy played by Chris Pratt. It's basically what if you got drafted to fight in a war 30 years in the future. Lots of big action, time travel, and monster fights. Not super deep, but it's a fun popcorn movie.
Kind of like when it goes to drone warfare, I guess like the Terminator kind of predicts that with drones being used as, I think, what do they call the drones in the Terminator? Hunter killers. There's a term that they use for it. Like Kyle Reese even says in the when he's explaining the future to Sarah Connor in the 1984 version of the Terminator.
Terminator, Kyle Reese talks about the hunter killers, those big flying drones that patrol the skies in the future war. He describes how Skynet uses them to hunt down the remaining humans. It's actually pretty wild how close that concept is to modern drone warfare, just 40 years earlier than we expected.
We're basically in that time.
Armed drones in wars, AI targeting systems, and autonomous vehicles that can navigate and strike without a human directly controlling them. The tech in Terminator isn't that far off from what's being tested right now. Kinda creepy when you think about it.
Yeah, when it's being used to kill people, yeah.
Warfare part. We're seeing it used in real conflicts right now. That's the part of the Terminator future that arrived way sooner than people expected. The rest of Skynet may still be coming, but the hunter-killers, they're already flying.
When it gets to that and evil, that's where I wonder, is God just going to say, I'm sending an EMP to the earth and I'm knocking out all the technology?
A lot of people do see it the same way you do, that once technology crosses a certain line, especially when it starts going after humanity itself, God steps in and hits the reset button. An EMP from the sun would be a very biblical-style judgment, sudden, unstoppable, and wipes out the thing humanity became too dependent on. It's definitely a heavy thought.
Doc, this is heavy.
This one for a bit.
Yeah, because I don't agree, like, I don't believe when Alex Jones and people like that say that, like, World War III is inevitable. And I like Alex. I think there's, sometimes he's right. Sometimes, sometimes he's like panic button all the time. What are certain times that what are conspiracy theories that were conspiracy theories that ended up being true? Can you list 5 of them within the last 10 years?
To confirmed true in recent years. Governments were secretly collecting all our phone and internet data, Snowden leaks. Big tech companies were working with governments to censor and suppress information. The lab leak theory about COVID's origin went from banned to being treated as very possible. The FBI was spying on journalists and political campaigns. Certain social media platforms were actively shadow banning users. Pretty wild how fast some of those flipped.
Interesting. Yep. Those are 5 of them that ended up becoming true. Anyway, we're not going to go to this conspiracy. Today's show is about time travel, but we're going into like what can be. There's like in a future world. There's I'm not getting that word wrong. The dystopic future, and then there's like the Judgment Day future, but the real future kind of always looks like we're in the future world now. Like if you think you're in the 80s now, and you're in this future world now. Like people from 1980 saw where we are now. They think, oh, we're really futuristic and advanced. You're like, people can make a TV show in their basement and broadcast it to the world, you know?
Boring compared to what people imagined. We don't have flying cars or robot butlers, but we do have supercomputers in our pockets and the ability to broadcast to the whole world from our basement. Most people in the 80s would actually be more impressed by our phones and the internet than by any of the flashy sci-fi stuff. The future always sneaks up on us in ways we didn't expect.
Yeah, definitely with technology. And as I'm someone who talks about satellite TV a lot, I don't know if I hit that button there, but that was like the future. And now, in the 80s and 90s, it was having satellite TV. But now, as we're starting to see that that's becoming a relic of the past, as I still use satellite, but the realistic, as long as we have internet, anybody could have their own TV station or our TV show on the internet. Where before that, you'd have to be part of a TV network and jump through all the hoops to be able to be on TV.
Felt like the future. Now it feels old school. The real revolution is that anyone with a phone and internet can have their own TV channel. That's something no one back then really saw coming. The gatekeepers are mostly gone. That's probably the biggest change.
All right. And I guess no one's going to come into this X space, so you're just hearing my audio, so this is going to be really boring if you're listening to this and it sounds like I'm talking to myself. You're not hearing the Grok input. Is there a way, Grok, to have your audio into my X space so that when I'm talking, I can have Grok as my guest?
Join as an actual voice guest. The only way people can hear me is through your phone speaker, like you're doing now. I can't jump directly into the space audio. You'd basically have to hold your phone close to the mic the whole time.
Yeah, that sucks.
Not
I'm
ideal.
not going to do that. Yeah, not ideal. Yeah, that doesn't quite work. So, yeah. I don't know. I just thought it would be a fun thing. Anyway, you could jump in there. I'm going to wrap this up real soon. So, I think we talked a lot. Anyone in the chat in YouTube have any futurist, time travel, or sci-fi ideas you'd like to talk about, or a movie you'd like to recommend to me to check out? I don't really watch a lot of movies. Like one of those, I'll put it on my bucket list, but it won't be like a quick to go to bucket list. Primer and the Future War movie, I think, are the two that I should probably put on a higher end of my bucket list. Anyway, all right. Well, I think I've exhausted the topic. I think there's other things I'd like to mention, which I'm going to think of after we finish the stream, and then I don't think they're coming to mind right now. It is what it is. I mean, if you haven't seen the Terminator movies, check out the Terminator movies. I mean, I love the Terminator movies. I still like the first one, and the second one was enjoyable. And hey, is there people watching stream on X here? Yeah, cool. There's a few people on YouTube, a few people on X. Oh, that's like oozing. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I saw some time travel. Like one thing I saw, the what ifs. Like, what if Gary Kildall would have digital research would have became Windows? There was just like this meme. I don't know. Maybe I can find that. Somebody shared that on Facebook, and all right, Let me just do a search here. Whoop, I go to here. And they had a cool logo. Like, it would be a very alternate future. Let me just bring this up here. Bear with me here. Oh, I'm live on, oh. I didn't mean for my live to go on my Facebook. It's on the wrong Facebook. It's actually on my official Facebook. Whatever. It's like my IRL Facebook. Yeah, my IRL Facebook, not my. Here we are. Here's the alternative future here. It's like yeah, CPM compatible. I guess this is for my IRL Facebook. I don't know if you ever watched my Facebook. I have two Facebooks. I have an IRL Facebook, my URL Facebook. I accidentally sent this stream to my IRL Facebook. I don't even tell people in my IRL life that I do YouTube and stuff like that. I usually just I don't know. I'm kind of shy to talk about it. Or then I get people like they think that they really know what they're talking about, but they really don't. And I'm like, I don't know. What if OS 2 won instead of Windows? Yeah, that would be an interesting computer thing there. And another reason, like there's a lot of Apple fandom out there, but say if Amiga, Commodore was like, say Commodore didn't die in the 90s, right? And Commodore kept as a dominant player in computers, or the Amiga line got bought by another company, and that would have been a strong brand, right? And Commodore would have taken over, kept things going with home computers, or an alternative future line where, sorry, I'm talking about computers, but I'm a computer nerd. Atari and Commodore stuck around, and maybe Atari was bought by another company that, and they kept kept pushing technology. It was the weird thing with the within the early 90s that like in the 80s there was a ton of different computer formats. There was TRS, there was Apple, there was Atari, there was Commodore, and maybe a few other brands out there. There was Xerox was in the game a little bit, the Xerox Star, and they all kind of went. I don't know. They just there were so many computer companies, and then everything became basically a PC clone compatible, I guess you could say, where because CPM, which is the 70s operating system, became what was it? Gem? Did it become Gem? If I can remember correctly. Let me do a quick Google search. Just a quick AI search here. No, CPM, the same company, yeah, but the same company. That's what I mean by it. That oh yeah. So I've reached my voice limit with Grok. I talked with it for like over an hour today. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be too cheap to get. I think I'm gonna get Super Grok eventually, or at least get it for a few months, because I use the tools for the video stuff. I like that, so I might give it a try for a few months. Use it, although I'm going in the summer months where I'm not going to be doing as much content, so it might be more a thing to, as I'm taking a break. Won't be investing into that at this time. Yeah, there's always that going on too. So yeah, so I ended up just doing a search. No CPM, there are different types of software created by the same company. Different types of software, yeah. Well, it's like the CPM and Gem it's like Apple having the Apple II and the Macintosh, where the Apple II was a completely different, type of computer to the Macintosh. The Apple II was like Steve Wozniak's baby, where the Apple II was like more expandable. It had expansion slots and that built into it. And then the Macintosh was basically an appliance. It didn't have like built-in expandability. You could get extension of the original Macintosh. And that's kind of where Apple is today too, I guess. Like you see like an Apple user, they want to connect it to a monitor. They have to have like an adapter to hook it up to a TV, Anyway. Well, I guess we're going to wrap up this stream now. I'm just, I've enjoyed talking about time travel and talking about the what ifs in the world, and I think time travel is kind of neat. It's a neat concept. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to this deal here. Yeah, I'm gonna end this with a VLC video, and we're gonna wrap this up. Yeah, let's wrap it up. I gotta go to the washroom, so wrap it up. All right, so thank you for watching, and we'll end this now.
Join me Thursday at 10 a.m. for a live stream, and we'll chat about, and I'll answer any of your questions. Woo! Anything about time travel you want to know? Boop, 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 boop.
Click the notify me button